Oh, there's a lot happening in little Dale world today. I have been sent these tyres by RADAR Tyres. Full disclosure, I got my first proper sponsor. How cool is that? So Radar reached out to me a few weeks ago and asked if I'd be interested in them sending me a few of their Renegade RT Plus, which is kind of like between an all-terrain and a mud terrain. And I said, yeah, I'm happy to have a go with that because I think maybe you guys could benefit from me testing them for 12 months. And what I liked about Radar is that their whole thing is called premium accessibility. So they make top end tires at an accessible price point. Right, you got the BF Goodriches and the Michelins and stuff at almost £300 a tyre. Whereas these come in at about 50% of that. But they're not 50% of the quality, because when Radar do their testing, they test them against the Continentals, the Michelins, the BF Goodriches. They don't test them against the cheap Chinese garbage tyres that come through. So, you know you are getting a really good product, because in a lot of the tests they actually outperform the top brands, and where they don't outperform them, they're on par with them. So I was pretty impressed. These Renegade RT Pluses, these sort of hybrid between an all-terrain and a mud terrain, have a very unique, interesting block pattern. It sort of promotes stability but has sort of grooves in all sorts of directions for maximum traction. It's also a really thick 3-ply construction, so you know it's really thick and solid. Very puncture resistant and also very stable on the road. They have a huge selection of sizes, but I've gone for the 265/75 R16. And on the sidewall over here you can have this kind of daggery, kind of grippy pattern on the side that's kind of aggressive, and the one I like. Or they've given you the option to have this very cool sort of skull and cross pistons, like a skull and crossbones but with pistons. Not my favorite, but I'm sure some people will love it, so I'm going to put this to the inside and I want the daggers on the outside. Now, I don't have a garbage set of tyres on here already. I've got the BF Goodrich all-terrains, the KO2 version, so really good. They've still got loads of life left in them, but these are slightly smaller. These are what Land Rover would recommend, the 235/85 R16. So I thought I would go a little bit wider just because I want to test it out. I've not had tyres that are 265, so I'm keen to see what that's going to be like, how the stance of the car is going to be, if it's going to be noisy on the road, if, obviously it's a bigger tyre too, so the gearing is going to be a little bit different. I'm very interested to see how it's going to affect the drivability of this vehicle. So let's load them up. I'm going to head over to my local tyre fitment place and let's put on some new boots. Radar Tyres very kindly agreed to send out 5 of the Renegade RT Plus tyres so that I'd have a matching spare. I mentioned it'd be a bit weird to have 4 tyres the same and then one random BF Goodrich on the back, and they saw my point. I've always wanted to try this cool tyre moving trick I'd seen the pros do, but I guess it takes more practice. And if you're wondering, the County 110 does fit 5 full-size wheels in the back with the second row seat still in place. The guys over at C Tyres made short work of the swap over and found it quite amusing that I wanted the skull and the crossbones to the inside. Now, excuse my accent, but they were like, "What? You don't like it, mate? Too tough for you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess. I just prefer the other side." To which they replied, "Don't worry, mate. We'll sort it out for you." But I guess some actual useful information is that it costs £25 per wheel. The drive home gave me a little bit of time to think about my raw and very first impressions. I guess coming from a very good set of tyres over the past couple years, namely the BF Goodrich KO2s, I thought it'd either be super easy to tell the difference if the new tyres were garbage, or really difficult to notice any difference at all if they were as good or maybe better. So I drove around a little bit more over the next couple of weeks to see if I could spot any differences at all. Well, it's been a couple of weeks, so I thought I'd let you know what I've found so far. Well, I wanted this video to be sort of an initial first impressions, right? But I want to add some useful information and kind of give you my findings. So I kind of figured, let me break it down into the questions or the categories that I feel like maybe someone would ask me about. Number one is probably road noise. And all I can compare it to are the all-terrains, the BF Goodrich all-terrains, which I had on before. And truthfully, honestly, I haven't noticed a difference in sound at all. Maybe slightly more droney, but really nothing noticeable. If you wind the window down and stick your head out when you're going about 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, you can hear a little bit more tire noise than with the BF Goodriches, but not enough for it to be annoying. It's really, really hardly noticeable. Another one would probably be fuel consumption. It's kind of the same. I mean, they're an aggressive tire, so you would expect it to be quite bad fuel economy wise, but it's kind of stayed the same at around maybe 26, 27 miles to the gallon, which is kind of typical for the 300 TDI anyway. Not something that I would personally worry about. The other thing that I was kind of thinking about was how it would affect the vehicle in terms of gearing, because I've gone up a little bit in terms of size. That the actual physical tire is bigger, so it might put a little bit more stress on the gearbox or whatever. I don't know about these things. I haven't noticed a single thing. There's nothing to worry about. In fact, it probably rolls a little bit better, which kind of ties into the most noticeable thing that I've found over the last couple of weeks or so. I mean, I've only done about 200 miles, but I will say a noticeable difference from the BF Goodrich tires is that the tire, these RADAR Renegades, they're a little bit more compliant. It feels like a softer compound rubber, so you don't feel as juddery, as jarry on bumps or anything in the road. It sort of soaks up the bumps a lot better than the BF Goodrich. I think the BF Goodriches are a little bit harder compound, which means they will last, 60,000 miles or something like ridiculous like that. And I've always had the BF Goodriches. I've used them for years and years and years and years and years. But it's nice to try a slightly different compound and to feel the difference. That has been a noticeable difference for sure. Another point worth mentioning is probably the look and the stance of the vehicle. I mean, that, I guess, is important to a lot of people. For me, I actually prefer the slightly wider 265 now that I've got them on. I think it suits the vehicle, right? This is a big square vehicle. And when you look at it with the 235s, it looks fine, but it looks a little bit skinny on the tires. So going to the 265 has really, in my opinion, has improved the stance of the car and the looks. I think it looks really good. I don't know if I'll go back to a 235. So it's a positive move forward in terms of looks. The sidewall on these particular tires is a little more aggressive than what I want, but it's kind of in the camp of like, I can live with it. It doesn't bother me too much, but I like a sort of a tidier, cleaner looking sidewall of the wheel. That's just personal preference. But I must say, I really do like them. It's elevated the look of the car. So that's a massive win, I think. I'll be going south in late July, early August, and I'll be driving down through France and into the Pyrenees Mountains, where I'll come across a huge amount of different terrain, and I'm excited to see how they perform. So far, I'm really impressed. I genuinely am impressed. It's not just because I'm being sponsored by these guys. If I hadn't been sponsored by them when my BF Goodriches ran out, I probably would have looked at these. In all honesty, the other tires I was looking at were the Falcon Wild Peaks. I like the look of those, and I can't remember the name of the tire, but it was one of the Continentals I think I quite liked. I think it was like a cross country or something like that. But I'm very pleased that RADAR reached out and sent me over these tires, and I'm excited to test it out. I'm excited to see how they perform. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will put a link to RADAR in the description. It's not an affiliate link, it's just an informational link that it can show you all the different types of tires. They make like 51 different types of tires across all sorts of applications. I'm not even going to try and list them, but cars, I mean, the most important one is the 4x4 ones, right? So maybe after these tires, I'll test out something else. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you got something valuable out of that. I really do believe that these are a great alternative, maybe the perfect alternative to the BF Goodrich KO2s. Yeah, I've said it. Yeah, I like him. I really do like him. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you enjoy this content. And I'll see you very soon for a very special Defender Dream Builds episode coming up, maybe right after this one.